I think a class on death doesn't last, right? And so the ideology of what is going on there, like, is it a philosophy class, like, right, something like that might fit more generally. But I'm wholly against. I want to get teachers' opinions out of the classroom, just because I don't trust them anymore. I would not have had this opinion 15 years ago. I had no problem with my teachers graduating through school, but I'm worried about how biased they are in that
It
they're
was
all
bad.
women.
I guess
Bad.
in my mind, there's no issue with them being women specifically. It's more just having what is very perspective focused, significant topics being brought upon a child without parental supervision. That's just more my mindset. It's not truly who's the one teaching it.
Yeah, the problem is that they're shoving propaganda down children's throats. Like, let's just be honest. That's what everyone won't say, but it's
That's
actually
the truth. Right.
I-
That's what we're fighting against. Is like,
Yeah.
and then the hidden question there, like, if we're to be honest, and
I mean, our friend,
compare-
our friend who was so focused on talking about death did leave, but I guess now you brought up a new topic, which is very interesting to me. What propaganda are you aspiring to or talking about that's being forced upon children?
Right. I think that's
Well,
that's what I was gonna say. Well, let me real quick. I think that's the hardest question. If you have a healthy understanding of what propaganda is. I don't want to use the term too hyperbolically like a lot of people do. So let me just say that the reason that I said before gets us very much closer, right? As far as we can remove opinions of teachers, well, then what are the teachers even doing? Well, they should be teaching the lesson plan. Okay, that's the current standard. Okay, but now the parents of the children, more than ever before, are saying, I want to have input into the lesson plan, right? I don't want my child taught this or that. But as long as you're teaching the standard things that I agree with, well, I mean, that's why I'm happy to leave him in school. I think that we're going to run into.
Do you agree with me or disagree with me that parental overreach has become somewhat apparent in the world of today? Yes or no?
I would say yes.
So then I
I would
guess
say yes, but I wouldn't like put it broadly. Like I'm granting you yes. I'm sure you can cite me examples. I can even pull up examples where, like, all right, bro, like, chill the fuck out. You can't control everyone's fucking information in the school quite so much.
Both
But
things are a problem, and it both comes from the same source.
I guess just because this topic has changed so swiftly. What is this source that you're speaking of? What can we ascribe it
Wokeness.
to?
It's wokeness.
Okay,
the sort
I guess when you say wokeness, are we going to equally apply that to like the growing right wing woke crowd that we've been seeing promulgate and come about?
No, that's a different thing. The woke right label, it's like an analogy.
false.
I mean, I'm gonna put
I'm
it.
happy to. By the way, this is a side topic, but I mean, because now we're going to challenge framings of our own three different beliefs. I am pretty positive that whatever is considered woke, right, it doesn't exist. It's actually a contradiction in terms, and so I would fight against that definition. If you're, but then exactly, like, if I'm a parent and you're a parent, and you as a parent for your children, you believe the woke right totally exists. It totally exists, and so you would go fight the legislature of, like, we need,
Okay, but
these
forgive
ideas
me. Well,
are
I can
cool.
just clearly tell that the issue is with the terminology, and if that is apparent, then I will just say satanic panic type of Republicans. Is that better terminology? Because I feel like my ideals
Well,
are still ascribed
I
the
think
same way.
Well, I mean, I think we got a couple of honest people in the chat here, so we don't need to lie about anything. I would just say, I think you're selling yourself short if you're going to cut it that far. I think you're cutting yourself off if you go that far. But
How am I cutting myself off if you don't mind just detailing? Because in my mind,
one more time, just...
well, how am I cutting myself off as you're describing? Because in my mind, there is a very prominent right-wing cultural push past what was just the, like, you know, stop buying Bud Light, and has turned into what is the pushing utilization of the federal government to have cultural entailments. You know, past just what is all the transport stuff. But, like, in my mind, the greatest example is the Republicans being okay and thinking it's all right with Donald Trump throwing people out of the country who have green cards for writing documentation that is against his action in Palestine and Israel.
No, that's not the woke right. What woke right would be basically a subfaction of right-wing radicals. And the calling them woke is a specific comment on, the style of thinking that they employ. This all comes from Jameslindsay. You've heard of him. That's where the term is.
Well, when I think more woke, I think what is the, like, common general understanding of the term being, like, socially aware of, cultural issues and their what?
It's not about the term. It's about how you employ the logic into your arguments.
I mean, I feel like I'm keeping it equal that what would be, social cultural change push is done by the left and right. But if need be, I'll just have a different terminology and call them something else than woke right.
It's basically, look, the problem isn't the woke right people. Look, you could be more specific about naming the factions on the right wing, but that's not what I want to talk about. The woke people, what it really is, this is the philosophical heir to the anti-realist, anti-logic, metaphysical, Hegelian and Marxist sort of thought. So if you want the actual answer of the philosophy, that's what it is, and it's all the shit coming from that.
From people on the right, like if I was to tell you that like I said earlier, like, I don't think the woke right exists. I think it's a contradiction in terms. I mean, do you care? Is that I don't want to go on and defend that opinion if that's not something you care.
Well, I'm more just kind of, and if it is of issue, Dinosaur, I understand. But outside of what is colleges, this Marxian Hegelian push within lower education, especially like sub 13, because in my mind that's the propaganda being pushed onto children. I think we're discussing.
No, it does come from that. It plugs directly into that stuff. Of course, they're not giving 10-year-olds copies of the Phenomenology of Spirit or anything. But
well, what is this? What is this like literature that is based on Marxian Hegelian theory that is of issue being taught to children?
Oh, that's all the woke stuff. That's what it is. That's where it comes from.
It starts.
No. Forgive me. Let me clarify.
You're saying you want direct titles and things of books, or what are you saying?
Well, I'm more asking like practices by, let's say, school associations putting in policy that is then connected to what is the source you're ascribing. You're telling me the source and its connection to the label in a theory standpoint, and that is wonderful. But I'm looking for then what is that application of theory in reality.
Well, it's clear. I would argue. First of all, it's clear that there is no clear application quite yet.
No, there is.
But, well, I mean, we could say that.
They have lesson plans. They have curricula.
No, well, let me finish my point, which is that, like, as much as I would say that they have no clear direction, we end up with where we are at right now, where we have lots of people who are, I'm talking about millions of people who are college graduates and in college right now, and they're coming into the business world. They're gonna go work under capitalism, but their ideology is that capitalism itself is bad. And this is what I feel is the major determinant factor. Everyone on the left, or likes to be, everyone on the right will call everyone on the left socialist. Everyone on the left, not everyone on the left, a lot of them will call themselves socialists. So, but they're not going to the true term of what socialism really is, right? Which is where capitalism is gone. There's no more capitalism. socialism is to replace capitalism, right? And we have I think a system of education where we're pushing people off into this far left domain. We're not telling them directly to be communist or socialist. We're not directly, at least for the most part. Some of them, some college professors are, but in the most part, no, they're not. They're not telling you that, but they are telling you capitalism has failed, the American system has failed. Watch out for all white people. Watch out for the government. Right? They're creating the incentives where everything is aligned, and then we look at the outcome of the college students that were trained in this, and what are those people? As far as we can tell, they're saying directly. They're not even doing a Bernie Sanders, right? They're not even like it's a social, right? Like trying to lie around the edges and shit. It's a social democracy. No. They're directly going into
So Krona, let me put in a few things I want to say. I do agree with you that a lot of people, especially nowadays, are throwing the terms of socialism and communism without properly understanding the theory behind it, just because that they have issue with their interpretation of capitalism in the world of today. And
what's good?
Howdy, Sinari. Sinari,
yeah,
just 1 second, okay, my friend. I'm going on a quick spiel.
Welcome, but let him go.
Yeah. So I do agree with you that there are plenty of people utilizing these terms, but their ignorance in using these terms doesn't mean that there is a growing issue, especially of what you're describing as a issue with the failure of the United States. Whereas they may take a Marxian interpretation of, let's just say, whatever issue that the United States is committing that may be imperialistic or whatever, right? That may be what they're decrying, but whereas we're seeing that same issue become apparent on the right. In my mind, especially, and though it was in my formative years, that was one of the biggest reasons why people were so ecstatic about voting for Trump the first term. And especially if we want to think about what was Donald Trump's second election, I would say that is what was the what did I originally call them? Satanic panic Republicans or right woke, but that is them doing the same in action.
You have to drop that phrase. Just satanic panic. You need to drop that phrase with the '90s era Republicans. That's not Trump's party. That's not Trump's party at all.
So the only reason I'm using satanic panic is because there is clear issue with me utilizing the terminology of right woke. That's the only reason I'm saying it.
I've already explained it to you, dude. It's look.
Well, I still want to get in with you because you were earlier saying that it was about lesson plans, and that is the enforcement of Marxian Hegelian ideas upon younger children. But those lesson plans are created by the Department of Education and whatnot.
Dude, just listen to me. I'm trying to explain something to you.
Okay.
Neither Trump nor the neocon faction are woke right. Woke right is a very specific, sub-faction of right-wing radicals. You've totally misunderstood.
I didn't say
term.
No.
Right.
I didn't say that it was even Trump who is right woke. I'm saying the people who voted for Trump.
They're not either. You don't know what you're. I'm telling you, you don't know what you're talking about.
You really don't.
Go to Jameslindsay himself, and you will see that is not who he says the woke right are.
Okay. So once again,
even by the way, even Jameslindsay, right, who coined woke right, and by the way, Jameslindsay was one of the first people to really start to do an academic exposition of the left. That's why he got popularity on the right ever at all. Is because he's like, oh shit, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He can speak in their language, and he's destroying them.
I'm going to disagree with you on that because I know his upbringing. It was going to HBCUs and arguing with people. That's what he got big for.
I don't think so.
Well, you got fat.
What?
But let me continue, please. Right, which is just that. Then Jameslindsay, actually, once he invented the quote unquote woke right, and put that shit on Twitter, he got major fucking backlash. Obviously, that's expected. But it was like, is it true? Is it true? That's the only thing that matters, right? Was he right or was he wrong? And as far as I can tell, the identity of woke right is, as I say, a different. It's a what did I say earlier? I said it better, but right. The terms don't match. You can't put those two terms together because woke is meant to be a usage of identity politics for political ends. That's kind of, if you could encapsulate the idea in a couple of sentences, which you can't, but if you could, that would be pretty close to what it is. And on the right, then when we say woke right, if there's any woke right, it would have to be someone like a Nick Fuentes or someone like this, where they're on the far side, and they're promoting it to the major part of the party.
So,
tell me if I'm wrong on that.
Well, and then let me ask you this, especially with what you just described. Not Andrew Wilson, but he is a clear example. What's that bald Romanian guy's name who got big on TikTok? The red pill guy.
The Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate, thank you. Andrew Tate, and let's just throw in as well Andrew Wilson, two giant internet figureheads who, let's just say, said that they were pushing their, followers not to vote for Kamala because she is a woman. I know Andrew Tate definitely said something like that on Twitter. Andrew Wilson probably said something akin to that.
I wouldn't mind it. Yeah.
Would this not be the same description that you applied?
No, that's not woke right. No.
So then what would be outside of the theory but an application in the world that we can say this is an example of woke right? So I can use the term properly.
You can't find examples. You can't. This is the problem.
Wait,
like I said,
wait, Jesus,
really?
wait, because jameslindsay himself, I'm pretty sure, called the Tates woke right. So
right, and everyone on the right was like, we had this battle for like a couple of weeks. I made the claim, and I will defend the claim, that the term woke right, it is a contradiction in terms. It's a contradiction in terms because
but it doesn't matter.
Woke,
Look,
that's
dude,
what I'm saying. You will
matter.
not find anyone who's woke right. You won't find any of them.
It doesn't matter if you disagree with it. The point is, he's like pointing towards.
And you would never find anybody who calls himself a tanky.
Actually, but we know that's not true. We know we have tankies who say yes, I'm a tanky.
No, because then if they said I'm a tanky, they wouldn't. They'd just be an avowed commie. They'd be an avowed commie because tanky's required to be hidden.
No, but Van, I mean, it's just.
Let's be honest. This guy's a leftist. That's what this is.
Well, I mean,
I didn't hide that. I'm a Hayekian liberal. What's wrong with that?
Right, we're just having a discussion. It doesn't matter if he's leftist. I hope that you would have already known that or assumed that.
Earlier I was saying people should go to church to get proper cultural enrichment about death.
I was hoping he was a liberal, but I'm hearing all this leftist bullshit.
Well, to me, this is the biggest. I mean, because we clearly have a lot of good content in front of us between these liberals and the leftists. Right, they're having a little fucking civil war, and it's fun. It's fun. But if I was to ask,
are we talking about like all that Econo Boy Destiny shit that's been going on?
Is your schedule not set for Thursday? I can't wait. But the question I'm asking though, Van, would you consider yourself leftist or liberal?
Liberal, especially in the concept of today. And if I'm going to be as specific as possible, Hayekian 70s style liberal.
Okay, but you have trouble recognizing the woke epidemic for some reason.
Well, no, I'm trying to properly ascribe it in the manner that you see fit. Because in my mind, what I am seeing, just as I said with Andrew Tate, is equally done so within the past with the Satanic Panic.
No,
equally so what's happening with the white
hold on.
Because
listen, guy.
I'm listening. I'm just waiting.
You can talk about that stuff if you want to, but it's irrelevant. I'm not talking about what the right is doing. It was not the subject of the conversation. I'm not sure why you brought them up.
Well, forgive me. We originally started with Marxian Hegelian ideas within, lower education, and then it got turned into what are potentials of Marxian Hegelian ideas being, instituted amongst lower education, and then what are these right-wing pushes equally doing so the same amongst the right. It was seeing the
I mean,
inverse. I mean, equally so. I would like to get back to this Marxian Hegelian indoctrination amongst the the kiddos by what was it? Instructions again.
Like, I don't know. You're being like weirdly obtuse. It's confusing.
I'm just following along.
Like I tried. I literally gave the best possible answer that could be given. I pointed you towards like the philosophical founders of these movements, but apparently that's not good enough. I have to somehow. I guess I have to go through every single step of the way.
You didn't. I actually more so had to do it by saying, "Is Andrew Tate a correct example?" And you agreed with me. After going through this long dialectical,
after you were
and we agreed.
About 4 different people, and you finally struck.
What other people did I state?
But this is not.
What
relevant.
other people did I state?
Why do you keep bringing this up? I don't care about Andrew.
Then let's go back to the Marxian Hegelian indoctrination amongst you through instructions. That sounds like an interesting non-conspiratorial topic.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear it.
It is. It is. It was the most interesting part of the whole fucking conversation.
So let's get back to it. Please tell me how they're doing so, especially with the Department of Education being overseen in the last, let's just say, 12 years altogether, 2 Republican administrations.
Van, if I could say one thing, this is one simple example. If it was the case,
this is just ignorance.
Dinosaur.
Forgive me, Corona. What is the ignorance by asking the question that he was entailing?
I don't know why he's angry. I don't know. I can't defend why he left the channel. I don't know.
C'est la vie. But I will say, I've actually really enjoyed you.
I don't know why, because the arguments are like good and fun to have, and I think a lot of them are timely, and we're just like barely touching the surface, because these are going to be major arguments that the whole population is going to have in a couple of years.
I will especially, I do agree with you, especially like earlier how you brought up asking me what type of, if I'm a leftist or a liberal, but especially with what we're seeing on my side, more so of the political aisle, of conversations of what it means to be a liberal or a socialist. Because like you said, it's scheduled for Thursday, but Econo Boy essentially calls himself a communist, or forgive me, a socialist.
Fanboy. We can miss all those people because they're just other influencers. They'll make their opinions. They're gonna have their debate, and believe me, I'll be watching. But it's not gonna define things. It's not gonna change.
Well, no. But it's significant. These conversations being had are significant.
Hold on. They are significant. I agree. But I want to, like, while me and you are here left in this Discord channel, I'm curious to your own position of like so. Where do you like? I'm pretty straight, and I already defined where socialism is, and where whatever whatever democracy, leftism, whatever. But as long as it's not socialism, right? Wherever that is versus socialism, those lines are very clearly defined, right? It's not a little bit more Medicare, a little bit better for our worker. It's not. That's not socialism.
So
right?
Well, it's just really funny because after watching that entire conversation that they had, right, I was like, are my generalizations of socialism and communism good enough? So, like, I actually wrote them down. And, like, just reading them aloud, or not, I'm not going to read them aloud, but reading them after I wrote them on Twitter, I was like, none of these other than by, like, Connor were mentioned of, like, actual generalizations of socialism and communism. They were just talking about potential political actions. Like, I remember, for God's sake, somebody brought up how, it's a socialist policy that Bernie pushed to get weed legalized in the United States. And I'm sitting here like, that's not fucking socialist. That's inherently libertarian. What the fuck are we smoking? Hello?
Okay. I mean, okay. To me, I'm mostly curious about the edge of where socialism is, and because I feel like everyone on the left is gonna do this fucking pony trade bullshit where they're like, we're not. Yeah, well, if we're socialists, then you must be fascist. Like, no, like there's actual definitions to the economic systems that reign our history, and socialism is an economic system. It's not a moral system. It's not a here's how we should run government. No, it's a economic system.
It's
right?
a corporatization,
And what I hear from you now, even further, is that you're saying, look at, doesn't everyone understand? Of course, all these people are calling them socialists, but doesn't everyone understand that all they really want is more, a better version of capitalism?
Well, they just want a better social safety net.
Well,
I think you can agree that people...
I've never interrupted you one single time.
Fair enough. Forgive me, please continue.
It's getting annoying, right? I don't... Holy fuck.
Well, you do monologue, my friend.
I monologue, but you monologue, too. I don't interrupt you when you do it.
Please continue.
Anyways, well, I'm just saying, the end point there being, the major difference here is that we have a lot of people on the left, people like you, who are being like, can't we just... Guys, they're saying they're socialists. Yeah, they're saying they're socialists, yeah. But can't we just be honest? They're actually capitalists. Which is actually pretty honest. That's that's real. That's actually real. Is that most of these people who are talking about this shit, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They just want more, more Medicare, more whatever. They just want more capitalist welfare benefit. They're not actually advocating for overchanging the actual economic system into socialism, right? Where no one has property, no one owns anything, right? They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about, right? But there's a lot of people who are also saying these things who are socialists. They do know what they're talking about. They do know what the revolution is that they want, and I think this is the whole part and portion of where the disagreement and the argument will come from Destiny and Econo Boy on Thursday, is we're really starting to finally, I mean, I'm on the right, so this shit has been obvious to me for fucking a decade, but we're finally on the left drawing out, oh, if you say you're socialist, what do you mean? Are you actually socialist? And that's where the debate's gonna go. And the truth is, most of them are not socialists. It's just been a good calling card towards the worker party or some bullshit like that. In the end, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that, especially as I brought up tankies earlier, but with a lot of people who are communist or socialist, in nature it is to be subversive. So they're not going to explicitly tell you, I want collectivization around the means of production, or, communism. What's communism again? It's the elimination of private property and, social class and political class, right? They more focus on just...
Socialism. That happens in... You already have to take that step to get to socialism. To go to communism, it's very easy.
Well, all I was simply going to say is what most people outside of those who actually understand the terminology and separation of the two, what they usually do is just understand what socialism is a kind of like expansion of the social safety net. So a lot of people, especially individuals like, let's say, Hassan or Econo Boy or so on and so forth, will utilize most people's barely understanding of socialism as being an expansion of a social safety net, and then appeal to them about how, if you're socialist, that's our entire focus. We just want to, end homelessness, take care of, rental issues, when in reality, that is not their end focus. That is just their appeal to those who don't truly understand the theory behind what is actually being discussed and only like hearing about the entailments to come with it.
Agreed entirely, 100%. You're on the money. As far as I know it all, you're on the money. But then you are someone who votes on the left, right? I'm not saying you're a leftist, but your bias is more towards that Democrat side of things. Is that right?
I'm gonna have to say yes with the last two elections we've had, especially the state I'm in, but I'm not gonna dox myself. Yeah. But once again, I think you may agree with me. Well, more so because I am center of left guy. Can you agree that the cultural Overton window has shifted to a massive right sphere of influence?
Absolutely. I mean, in the last like 2 to 4 years, absolutely.
Yeah, and so especially with what is going on in the world of today, I am of course going to be more likely to vote in Democrats, right? But let's just say I lived in Texas and I could vote for Ted Cruz. I would vote for Ted Cruz, and it's for a very specific reason. Him and AOC tried to come together to add legislation so the members of the Congress and Senate only had what the fuck is the proper term? 2 terms in office that they could actually work in. It was like in 2017 or 2018, but I remember reading about him working along AOC to try and get this legislation passed, and of course it got shot down. But as soon as I heard that, not just the fact that he is willing to work with somebody across the aisle, so far it's AOC when she was a part of the squad, but to the point where it's about common sense legislation. Yeah, if I live in his state, I'd probably vote for him. So that's why I'm saying, like, Cinti left guy.
You're being a very honest person, which I appreciate immensely. No, in words I cannot put, because in politics, most people, even on the sides, even the me and the yous on this side, they just can't be honest. Where I'm happy to admit where things are, things I support have gone wrong. It seems like you're willing to do that as well, and that's almost a secret power, I think, in terms of moving opinions amongst people, right? Is that you have to be willing to be like, okay, yep, you're right, and they fucked that up there, and even though I'm on their side, they fucked that up, right? And I think that is a core component of being honest and reasonable, and you have to do that to draw anyone in the middle over towards your side. You have to be able to be like, okay, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna shit.
Well, let me just say absolutely. And, as you are probably the only person in my Twitch stream, but it's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get into streaming and whatnot, is because I want to try and actually have a push of calm, but trying to meet in the middle conversations with people, because, and I know we keep on talking about him, but Destiny and how he likes to have conversations, completely said aloud to PF Jung that he does control the manner and way he discusses with people to try and get them to align with him. And that is one of the most disgusting, dishonest things that any interlocutor could do in conversation. Be purposely dishonest and disingenuous just to try and gain allegiance. Like, as soon as I heard that, I wanted to try and actually have conversation with people, just because in my mind, the exchange of ideas is more important than, getting you to ally to my tribe.
100%. I mean, and at least, by like Destiny himself, I've watched Destiny for, many, many years. Not like consistent. I don't watch his streams every day or anything, but I've seen him. He's a debater, as we say, right? He wants to win the debate, and actually he's very good at it, and that's why I still continue to watch him, because I like to hear and understand how someone like him is thinking and what they're doing. But is he moving voters to the left? I don't think so.
I would actually say yes.
Very few.
Because he's been going on a lot. He's been going on a lot of like smaller known Republican shows, and been very much pushing his, not like Trump, TDS, but he's been pushing his anti-Trump rhetoric, which is having a lot of smaller right-wing channels agree with him and become a part of his like Unfuck America tour. So it is working in his favor. I don't agree with it. I hate the fact that it's working, just because I feel like that this is going to be the next tie in the cultural divide.
Why do you say it's working? What in your mindset? What signals have you seen to see like, yeah, this is working?
Somebody like he who is currently going about on a doxing crusade in the middle of a lawsuit, getting those who are completely morally separate in perspectives from him align with him, is one of the biggest reasons why I would say it's working.
What are you referring to? I'm
Like-
not following.
His Pixie lawsuit, trying to dox J-Stock currently, utilizing his
Right.
Daliban or whatever to do it.
Those are not the things bringing. Those are the things that are detracting from him. His sexual abuse.
No,
lawsuit,
I'm
which,
saying
by
that
way,
these
I
are
haven't
the-
looked at, but-
Well, these are the type of characteristics that would be alienating, but he is just growing and expanding, especially amongst, like I said, smaller right-wing, audiences, to try and connect with them, and it is working in his favor to push more of a, I don't know how to properly say it, but radicalist mindset upon the dialectical stage. And that's why I wanted to come in here of the internet, even though, to no avail so far, but try and be a moderate conversation where, like with Dinosaur before, I of course will say my opinions, I will make my voice heard, but I still want to hear your opinion. I still will probably agree with you on some stuff. But all I care about is just the conversation.
I would, if I was you and I was starting on this journey that you claim you are. First of all, you have to fix your microphone.
Is it that bad?
You're like, are you driving through a tornado?
Oh no, it's storming outside.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is
it must be storming nice and hard because, yeah, hell yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I want to be in that storm.
No lie, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be going for a walk out there right now. But it's definitely coming hard.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Please do. I can't control Mother Nature. She's a fickle mistress.
I know. That beautiful bitch of Mother Nature.
Damn bitch, you scared.
Where's your logo? You don't have to tell me anywhere too close. Where's your region? Where are you at?
I'll say this: southeast.
Southeast United States?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm a Yank. The only way to be, baby.
You're in like Tornado Alley, it sounds like.
Yeah, just about.
Somewhere on that area. Okay, that's cool.
But I more want to start asking you, because you did say earlier you're more so in your later 20s, earlier 30s, and you're very gun-ho with the right. May I ask why that is? Could that be the difference of age and how we possibly, grew up? Do you think it's more like I have less care about, social media, and you may have more of an interest? What do you think it may be?
If I was to tell you, and by the way, the storm is like cutting you in nice and good, cutting you out and in nice and good. But if I was to tell you my answer, I started initially. I was raised religious, so let me put it plainly. My family is a religious family. Now they've never had. If it's possible for you to mute your mic, that'd be much better because the storm is way louder than your voice. My family never pushed on me a religious direction until let me cut this shit short, real short. I was raised Mormon, left the Mormon religion. Gently, I would say I was pushed on towards the left because for business reasons and making a lot of money, I moved to San Francisco. But after a bit of time there, I realized, and at this time I'm like maybe like 26, 27 years old, uh, when I decided to leave San Francisco because I could just the people. I don't know. It wasn't even really a political decision at that point. It was just a monetary decision of like, oh my God, the state is going this way, and if I run my numbers and my math and my income and my potential, run it, I should probably not be here paying so much money in San Francisco. And where my initial difference actually came from was actually once Trump got elected, because I've been an online person for, most of my life, but I got the internet luckily at like age of like 8 or 10 years old. And so I've been on the internet all the way. That's influenced my entire life and where my career went, etc. And as far as I can tell, it wasn't until Trump got elected that I actually gave any fucks about politics. I literally just didn't even care, right? All I was thinking about was my career and making money. And once Trump got elected, the entire fucking news apparatus of America flipped its ass into like, oh, like what the and so it was only after Trump got elected that I started to actually research, government, and got a good understanding of, at that point only the basics of the way the system worked. But I uh, I could tell there was this is the initial selling point, is that the government was attacking Trump. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Like that doesn't seem just. That's not the America I know. Is that the government itself is attacking the president, right? Like, and this was no one in the this is not mainstream news. This is just the sources I poked into after Trump won. And I was trying to figure out, why did Trump win? Because I didn't care. I didn't vote for him, but it was only through that period of time that it was really only took about 2 years of time that I became hardened into the right side. That I was like, oh my god, right? They banned Reddit, banned everyone on the right. Like we had actual signals of major companies trying to silence the opinion of the right, and that hardened me. I've been talking for a minute. There's still a little bit of the story left, but I don't want to talk too much.
I mean, okay, and the main reason I was quiet for the most part is because of the storm outside, so, forgive me in that regard. But, so it was mainly economics, you're an internet guy, and seeing how they attacked Donald Trump. Now, I can agree with you that when it comes to issues of governmental spending, we do agree that that's a both sides issue, right? And we more need a Rand Paul type of Republican, somebody who is more appropriately a part of the Libertarian Party, but he's a Republican to get the votes. Do we agree with that?
Right. The problem is, like, a Rand cannot get them votes. He's not. Right, when you're only representing one part of the issue, which is like getting whatever those might be, like, let's make government more efficient, like a Rand Paul would say. That's not enough. That's not enough to win a national election.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying hypothetically, like, if this is what we're looking for, it would be somebody more like Rand Paul, somebody who's truly a libertarian but wanting to reform the economic governmental system, especially when it comes on overspending, which is one of the biggest economic drains that we as plebs deal with.
I mean, I think that's close. That's closer. But if we could pick our politicians based on skill or thing like it would be way better. But the problem is, nobody wants to run for office. The actual real competent motherfuckers out here, they understand the system. They go and fight in private capitalist markets. They don't go fight in the government. They just lobby the government.
Well, they do lobby the government. You are very correct. But when it comes to what is a lot of this issue, especially that we're talking about, of economic, like, I kind of want to focus it because, like, hypothetically, right? First election, let's say Donald Trump didn't win the nominee, and it was Ted Cruz versus Bernie Sanders, right? Fuck Hillary Clinton. She's a dumb bitch. I can say it. I don't like her. Do you think that Bernie Sanders would be somebody you would vote for? Somebody who was very focused on economic reform, somebody who was focused on social cohesion, and as well, people forget, but anti-illegal immigration.
Absolutely. In that time period of like 2016-ish, in that area, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter because I was on the internet. I was reading Reddit and all this shit, and Bernie Sanders had like unlimited internet support, right? And so I was a Bernie supporter in like 2014, but then you started to get like other. I just started, in that period. Honestly, I was just doing career. I was just focusing on being a better programmer.
Well, and then.
But,
well, forgive me, just especially in the time of today, right? What would be somebody upon the left that you could say, like, I could very much, like I did earlier, say, I'd vote for Tedcruz, right? If I lived in the state right now, I'd vote for the motherfucker. Is there anybody on the left you could say the same of? Of the world of today, as you were describing, of the change that you've witnessed and undergone within your own mindset.
Sure. In